Hello, and welcome to episode number 301 of the TEW 2020 Challenge Run, where it all begins again, I guess. We are here for Monday Night Raw, week 4 of October 2022, and tonight it's also going to serve as the go-home show for the Pit Stop Gap One Night in Tokyo event. And we're going to find out who's going to face Rhea Ripley for the Raw Women's title on that show. Will it be Hikaru Shida, Liv Morgan, or Sasha Banks? We also have Cesaro in his last match on Raw. I don't know if you've seen the tweet, but I'm actually going to do more of that now. I'll get to that in a sec. Cesaro and Chad Gable. We have a 6-man tag team match, Mustafa Ali teaming with the Street Profits against the Schism. And we have Charlotte Flair now going against Yoko Uehara instead of Nova. So, Nova got injured at a house show when I was simming from Raw to SmackDown. And she's out for only, I think it was only like 26 days. But, of course, the 1 week she gets announced for a match before Raw, she gets injured. And I advanced that with a fictional Twitter exchange. And that's probably going to do what I'm going to do more of, like stuff advancing off screen, like of people on Twitter shouting at each other, because I just think it's fun. Anyway, without any further ado, let's jump straight into the show. Speaking of the aforementioned Queen, Woo, she comes out first and she goes, "Well, why wait? You know, I was supposed to meet the great Nova Nebula in the ring tonight, because she talked such a big game last week about being able to beat me, yet I don't see her. She's apparently hurt her eye or something, I don't know. Those sound like excuses to me, girls. Anyway, so, Nova, you can run but you can't hide. I don't care what galaxy you've ran away to. I'm inevitable. I'm the inevitable next Raw Women's Champion. I will hunt you down and find you wherever you've gone. So, now, onto other issues. This Yoko Uehara, you know, don't really know a whole lot about her. She's only come back around under this persona recently, and before that she just was sitting under Asuka's wing for so long. So come on, girl, let's see what you've got. Let's see if you can hang with the Queen. And out comes Yoko, and we kick off Raw with the match. 85. I think all but one match on this show go like at least 12 minutes. So yeah, we're in for a lot of bangers tonight. But Charlotte does beat Yoko. I know she's only just come back and she's just started picking up wins, but she got thrust into a spot that she shouldn't have been in because it should have been Nova. But yeah, being in the ring with Charlotte helped her out. So I'm alright with her losing to Charlotte, of all people. And she gets a 70, while Charlotte gets an 89, so it's fine. It's all good. And yeah, Charlotte picked up a win over Yoko. Would that have been the same fate that Nova suffered? We will never know, I guess. Backstage segment. Dolph Ziggler is with Emerson Frost and Ken Kobain. And he makes the announcement that after their big tag team victory last week, they will face Path of the Dragon, you know, Humberto Carrillo and Akira Tozawa in his homeland, for the Raw Tag Team Championships this Sunday in Tokyo. And, you know, boys, you know, your rise to the top has been quite admirable, you know. It's a sort of rise to the top that guys like us, we strive for. But gonna have to end it because the Path of the Dragon is a thing of the past, the Grand Jury is a thing of the present and the future. Emerson Frost and Ken Kobain are the future greatest tag team here in WWE, and maybe they'll be future world champions individually. You two are not. Your 5 minutes of fame is over in Tokyo this Sunday. And that is the show. And then the 3 boys walk in, and Zaya's with them, but none of the Grand Jury girls are with Ziggler. So she's just sort of like standing around in the background. And the 2 tag team men go face to face, and Ziggler goes face to chest, I guess, with Zergus. And he's like, alright, big boy, alright. I got you. And the Grand Jury guys back away, like, oh, we'll save it for this Sunday. Don't think I'm scared of you, boy. We then cut from that to Veer Mahan's music and Malcolm Bivens coming out. And Bivens goes, "This must be some kind of rib, you know? This must be a joke. Don't know what I've done to Alexa. If this was all Bully Pierce on the other side, I'd understand his vendetta against me because I did his job better than he did, but somehow he's still in power. Anyway, so my boys decimate Path of the Dragon. Omos pins Zergus the Mighty back at Unforgiven. Yet we're not the challengers for the Tag Team Championships. In fact, Ziggler's boys, they get the title match. And we're here wrestling... Who's this? He goes, my name's Ernest Jones. And he goes, look at you, you're a nerd. You probably eat pencils. That's your name. We're wrestling Ernest the Pencil Eater over here. And the other two are wrestling for the championship that should be ours. Okay, so once Veer unloads on the ass of Ernest the Pencil Eater... I mean, when he dominates Ernest from all areas... When he wins, when Veer beats Ernest in this match coming up next, then maybe we'll get the fucking recognition that we deserve. And Veer, of course, does unload on Ernest the Pencil Eater. He beats him in 2 minutes with $1 million arm. 40 for Veer, 24 for Ernest the Pencil Eater. Or Ernest Jones, as his name actually is, but dubbed Pencil Eater by Malcolm Bivens. Then after the match, I forgot I put the segment in, so I'll just skip forward. Veer, he goes, Malcolm Bivens goes, that's not enough. Veer, destroy this pencil-eating nerd. And Veer unloads him with another $1 million arm, and then he locks him in that camel clutch submission. And he doesn't let it go because the match is ended. When, who walks out to make the save but Sanga? The old tag team partner of Veer. He gets in his suit, I guess Sasha doesn't need him tonight. And he goes face to face with Veer. And Veer eventually backs away. Bivens like, it's not worth it, it's not worth it, it's not worth it. And Sanga just sort of looks at Veer as Veer leaves. Clearly taking exception to what Veer's up to here. Anyway, my wrestling academia backstage. Manny goes, man, Sensei, I knew you were going to say this is if we were in a filler arc about Dio, but this is getting ridiculous at this point, When are we going to get booked? When are we going to wrestle and fight? And Sensei goes, well, Manny, we failed our goal, We came up short at SummerSlam to get Saray's pendant back. That very valuable, important item that means so much to her. And we will get it back, but we can't do that unarmed. We've got to make a team. And that team doesn't consist of me, you, and Saray. It doesn't even consist of us and Dio. Who knows how many people we need to actually get that pendant back from Gacy and whoever else he may recruit on his side. But I will tell you that this fight for the pendant doesn't end anytime soon because we have to get it back. We need it back. And then we hear, Guten Tag. Pardon for the interruption. He goes, this pendant you're chasing after. Surely I could be of service. And Sensei goes, I mean, maybe. What do you want? And he goes, I hear you speaking so highly of this pendant. What's it look like? How much is it worth? And then Saray explains it to him. He's like, oh, it's my magic pendant. My grandma gave it to me, and it's, priceless. And he goes, that does sound like valuable goods. I'll tell you what, Sensei, you won't have to worry. I'll get that pendant back. And he goes, oh my god, really? And Luffy goes, yeah, I will. But you won't be required. If this pendant really is as special as you say it is, I must have it. It would look great next to El Generico's mask, and Riddle's scooter, and Cameron Grimes' mattress, and this money I got from selling Baron Corbin's Bored Ape. But you must prove to me that you deserve to even contend for the pendant. Face me next week. And Manny goes, fine, yeah, I'll do that. Me and you're on. And Luffy goes, no. You're Sensei. And Sensei's like, I mean, I've got a week of training, but sure, I'll fight you. And Ludwig goes, excellent. I look forward to seeing you then. So naturally, this important pendant of Saray's sparked the interest of Ludwig, because that does sound like some valuable goods. And fresh off winning the Bored Ape, he's got his eyes on another prize. We then cut to Chad Gable cuts a bad promo. Okay. He's like, shoosh. So, here's the situation, I don't know if you heard, SmackDown going to 3 hours. They took some of Raw's guys, and I don't know if you noticed, but Alexa seemed more than willing to let Cesaro walk and leave the show to go over to SmackDown. But she made a great play to keep Master Gable under contract to Raw, because maybe she knows what I know, and that's that I'm the best wrestler on this roster. Better than Cesaro, better than anybody else back there who thinks they've got what it takes to take it to Master Gable. Now, I'm sure you Raw fans are so excited to hear that Cesaro, he needs to honour his bookings like an honourable gentleman that he thinks he is. And he's going to wrestle tonight despite being contracted to SmackDown now. But fear not, because Master Gable's about to send him packing to the Blue Band for good. Thank you. We then get Gable versus Cesaro in an 88 rated match. Cesaro, in 17 minutes 35 even, wins his final match on Raw before heading back over to SmackDown. He beats Chad Gable with a neutralizer, and Gable gets an 83 and Cesaro gets a 91. Cesaro is somebody, unfortunately, that has sort of just floated about on here for basically since WrestleMania. And, maybe with SmackDown picking up new people and going to 3 hours, maybe time for a fresh start for the Swiss Superman over on the Blue Brand. Because, yeah, there's more room for growth over there now, I guess. But yeah, he picks up the win here, and he's going over to SmackDown. Gable loses, but stays on Raw. Backstage, Smile and Shine, chatting. When Baron Corbin walks up, stinking, he's still got the bean stains on him. And he's like, hey ladies, I can't help but notice you're looking very happy with yourself over here. I'm just wondering, what keeps you going, Kylie? And she's like, huh? It's like, you're so smart. You called yourself Smiley. Do you not know that the world can just crumble around you at any moment? I know I'm starting to sound like that Karrion Kross guy, and I'm not trying to be that way, but look, I was as happy as you a month ago. Do you not worry that at any given moment it could all, be taken away? And Tegan's like, yeah, we're gonna go. And they awkwardly scoot off. Corbin goes, first, Corbin for the first time in months, someone's actually tried to listen to you, and you've scared them off. And he goes, oh, but they did leave food behind. And then he picks up a sandwich or whatever, bites into it, but instead of it being a lovely sandwich, someone has put a fake sandwich out with, goo inside. And he's like, what the hell? Who did this? And Corbin, his heart is broken by some little jokester who's put a fake sandwich out in catering for him. Whoever that could be. We then get Kathy Kelly interviewing John Morrison. And she's like, John, last week you made your return to Raw after a few months away. It's like, what is your motivation now you're back? And he goes, well, I continue being the most moist man in WWE, but that ain't my only goal anymore. Of course, I'm going to stay moist, and I'm going to stay dripped out like I drip can. But my goal now is clear. Johnny Drip Drip, the most moist Intercontinental Champion in history. A regal... Whoa! It's that Workhorse Championship you're so after. Well, a gentleman such as myself has a lot of history of a championship like that one, John, and quite frankly, a guy like Dudley Davis here to my right, he's the perfect caliber. If you could mould and design the perfect Intercontinental Champion, that man would be Dudley Davis, with all due respect. And Morrison's like, well, okay, I'm free tonight. Is he free tonight? Because if you want to prove that in the ring, one-on-one, we can do that. Dudley's like, I mean, yeah, I'm free for a fight, mate. Yeah, let's go. So, impromptu match for later on tonight. John Morrison takes on Dudley Davis. Should be a hoot. We then get Titus O'Neil on the stage. And he's like, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Titus O'Neil, and I am the head of Titus World Records. Now, you may remember 5 weeks ago, Battle of the Bands took Monday Night Raw by storm. We crowned our king of Battle of the Bands, and that was this man, Mr. Aiden English. And out comes Aiden, and he introduces VXT with him. And he's tired. Goes, well, I'm sure you're wondering what Aiden's out here for tonight. And he goes, let me finish for you, truth. You see, I have accepted a grand challenge from J-Flow once again, because you see, J-Flow bring their brand of Japanese pop to the States, and you all seem to lap it up. Well, here's the thing, WWE heads to Japan this Sunday, and obviously it'll be against our best interests to not let J-Flow bring their J-pop sensational music to that show. But they need, worthy challengers for those women's tag team championship. And who better than the two girls I'm about to introduce you to, the biggest showgirls in WWE, Deonna Purrazzo, Chelsea Green, VXT. And they come out and stand with Aiden. And he goes, well, I'm here for a impromptu debate with our esteemed intellectual women's tag team champion, so let's get them out here. And then out they come, and Mackie goes, What are we debating? And then Aiden goes, I'm debating because you seem to think that my victory back at Battle of the Bands was a fluke, and that you were robbed, and that there was some chicanery afoot. Well, here is the deal, Miss Mackie and all of the J-Flow girls. I am willing to give you this crown. And Mackie's like, oh my god, yeah, gimme. And then he pulls it away from her. She's like, on one condition. You see, as I said, it's within our best interest to have you featured on One Night in Tokyo. How about on that day you defend your women's tag team championships against Deonna and Chelsea? If they win, they take your women's tag team championships all the way to theater. But if you win the next night on Raw, I will hand you this crown and dub the Queen of Pop. And Mackie goes, oh my god, yes, we accept. And then Aiden goes, well, that's excellent. We'll see you in Japan. But one more thing. Bang. Deonna and Chelsea jump Mackie. Then the other J-Flow girls come out. And we get an impromptu match. Deonna Purrazzo and Tam in a singles match. Gets us 75. I let these girls go at it because they both had good psychology. So I was like, yeah, we can give this time. They go 11:50. Deonna beats Tam with the armbar to give her and Chelsea the last bit of momentum heading into One Night Tokyo. 64 for Deonna, 72 for Tam. But now, I'm sure you can all agree, super high stakes added to the women's tag team title match. Not only are the titles on the line, but if J-Flow retain, Aiden English will personally crown Mackie the Queen of Pop on next week's Raw. We then get the Karrion Kross culture here. And he says, well, kids, life's not all sunshine and rainbows, as I'm sure you're aware. We got embarrassed by those YouTube bombs back at Cardiff. And now, I'm suffering. It's not fair. All I ever wanted was to love people, and in turn be loved by them back. Their behavior towards me has only earned my hatred, and rightfully so. I am the true victim of all this. I am the good guy. Humanity struck at me first, by condemning me to experience so much suffering. I didn't ask for this. I didn't want this. I didn't start this war. I wasn't the one who struck first. But I will finish it by striking back. I will punish everyone, and it will be beautiful. Finally, at long last, I can show the world my true worth. Trust me, it'll be nothing personal. Just what has to be done. We then cut to Sammy after that edgy ass shit. I imagine it's actually on the TV because, all of my angles are being on the TV backstage. And Sammy just raises his eyebrows and looks like, oh, okay then. When Zelina walks up and the rest of Legado, she's like, Sami Zayn, And he goes, can I help you? She goes, yeah, you could. I'm sure you're aware that Legado de la Sombra here are gonna take over Raw. And Sammy goes, so I've heard, yes. And she goes, you've been WWE champion before, you know what it's like to reach the top. So, you're smart for getting out of our way, Sammy. I appreciate that. And Sammy goes, okay, well, what is this? Why are you trying to suck up to me? What do you want? And Zelina goes, well, it's not about what we want. It's about what we need and what we're going to take. And you seem like a good guy, So I thought I would just let you be the first person to know this. And Sammy goes, well, I'm not interested. Okay, you go do your thing, I'll do my thing, And Zelina goes, well, if that's the attitude you're going to have after all the help I've tried to give you right now, then I guess we'll have to put you down next week in the ring. Sammy goes, oh, so now we're actually wrestling, You're not going off into dark back alleys and meeting up with shady men in restaurants anymore. Now we're actually doing the wrestling portion of this. Okay, fine. I'll face it, Andrade, next week. And Zelina goes, Andrade's had enough, okay? He's wrestled enough lately. Metalik, you can wrestle next week. The true greatest luchador against somebody who pretended to be one. So Sami Zayn versus Grand Metalik. Just a quick segment just to set up a match for next week because, yeah, why not? We then get an interview. Kathy Kelly is with Liv Morgan and Hikaru Shida. She's like, girls, main event tonight, huge stakes. You two have been very friendly in recent weeks, but, it's every woman for themselves, I'm sure you're aware, in the main event. So if it comes down to it, will one of you pin the other? And then Liv's like, well, Kathy, yes, part of being friends in this business is that knowing there's every woman for herself when it comes down to it. I know that, Shida knows that. Shida, of course, would love to go to Tokyo and perform, but I've told her, you don't always get what you want, girl, because I'm taking it. And yeah, it's everyone for herself. We know this, and may the best one win, whether it's one of us two or Sasha. Then Julia and Sonya walk in, and they go, where's your thank you? And then Liv goes, why are we thanking you today? Okay, what have you done now? We took Bianca out, and she's now no longer going to be the challenger for Rhea. And then, well, you beat us last week. Where's your thank you for giving you this opportunity? And then Liv's like, oh, that's how you're painting. You're painting this as you trying to be so gracious and letting us win instead of, what it actually was, and that's us whipping your ass. Okay. How about it, girls? Seeing as you two don't seem to be busy, because, you're not getting championship opportunities anytime soon, me and Shida will go out to the main event in that triple threat match, and you can stay back here and watch me do my thing. Then they leave. So a little bit more tension between these two Grand Jury girls and Liv and Shida. 82. That's a good match, considering it's got Wolf and Aziz in it. But the 6-man tag team match. The Schism are pretty much unstoppable in multi-man matches right now. And they win again. Joe Gacy pins Angelo Dawkins, of course, is the one who takes the fall, because that's very much what the story dictates. 88 for Ali, who carries the thing. 73 for Dawkins, 78 for Ford, 74 for Gacy, 68 for Aziz, and a 67 for Gruber. And yeah, the Schism win again, and they go, what a win, guys, You're doing great, Angelo, you know. Don't let these two beat you down. It's fine, it's fine. And then after the match, he's all frustrated. He walks out. He goes, fucking firm. God damn it, firm. This ain't right. And Ted's like, calm down, Dawkins, calm down. And he goes, oh, Tez, you don't get it. You don't get it. It's been eating in my head these last few years. Going, oh, Angelo is nothing. He's nothing without Tez. He's nothing without Tez. Maybe they're right, firm. Maybe you would be better off without me. And he just rolls out of the ring and walks out through the crowd. And Tez is like shouting and going, Dawkins, come on. Come on, what are you doing? Barman's Baron Corbin. He's vomiting through the bin again. He goes, oh, I've got to find tonight's dinner. Okay, yeah. Empty tin of beans. Had them yesterday. Okay. And he sees, oh, what's this? And he sees a £10 note on the floor. Or $10 even. He goes, oh, God be on my side tonight. And he goes to pick up the dollars, and then it moves away. And he chases after it, tries to pick it up again. He tries to pick it up again. It keeps just floating away from him. And then eventually he trips over, and then the dollars just float away. And Corbin's like, oh, maybe one day, Corbs, maybe one day it'll get better again. And they don't click. They got an 82. That's fine. Okay, I was expecting an 82 roughly, regardless. But yeah, them not clicking getting an 82 is a good thing, you know. Yeah, John Morrison picked up the win, 13-28 with a Starship Pain, because Finn Balor is back out here again. You know, despite losing 2 matches decisively to Gunther, he's still picking a fight with the Regal boys, and Dudley was the one wrestling tonight, so I guess he's the one who gets the attack. And then after the match, obviously Balor's he's on the ramp. Gunther and Pete Dunne are out there as well, so they all get in the ring, and Regal's like, you bloody idiot, what do you think you're doing out here? Don't you know, are you not over this yet? Are you not tired of the ring general chopping your chest? You even brought out Balor the Demon, and that wasn't enough to stop us. I think, Regal, do you ever shut up? Crikey, like, everyone used to think you were the most respected member of the WWE locker room, but you lost all that now because you're a bit of an ass. Regal's, who are you calling an arsehole? You're an arsehole, Finn Balor. He goes, yeah, quite famously as well, you know. That the difference between me and Drew Regal is I embraced that. Hell, I made it my whole career. Regal goes, what is the point of this, you know? You're alone, and there are 3 of us. Okay, Ridge, he's not here this week, you know, traffic and stuff have got caught up to him. But Gunther, by himself, has have to kick your ass, let alone Pete and Dudley too. I think goes, oh, Regal, don't you think that after the last 2 times of Gunther there kicking my ass, that I would learn? Of course I'd learn, Regal, because look at me, and look at Gunther. I didn't get to the top of this business by being physically dominant. I got to this business by being the best in that ring, and by being smart. So it's always smart, you know, not to burn any bridges. Because once you've got a family for life. Out come Gallows and Anderson, and they stand side by side by Finn Balor, and all of a sudden the numbers are equal, and they storm to the ring. I probably have to have Gallows go after Gunther and take him down, and that annoys me, but I guess it has to be done. And Anderson takes down Dudley, and Balor takes down Pete, and yeah, we now have the club. And Regal grabs a microphone at the side of the ring. He's got his little suit all rustled up, and he's all shouting. He's like, "You'll pay for this, Finn Balor. You'll pay to not just sit back and just accept your defeat graciously. Now you've brought your 2 friends along. You brought them like lambs to the slaughter, Finn. You don't win this, and we will get our vengeance. You just won't expect it. And he drops the mic and leaves. So yeah, Gallows and Anderson, of course, back in real life, and back in the game as well. I thought, why not bring them back? Because this makes perfect sense to have them feud with the Regal boys alongside Finn. And great for Carl, very good for Gallows, which is fine. Losing to comedy, I disagree that losing to comedy gimmicks would hurt Gallows and Anderson. They are very funny people, you know, and they'd make it work. But yes, suddenly now we're on 3v3. Next week, though, big show. Kind of. We've got, I think, the Raw debut match, at least singles, of Young Sensei, and they're going to go one-on-one with Ludwig Kaiser after the interaction them two had backstage about the secret pendant that Ludwig so clearly wants in his locker. We then have Sami Zayn taking on the Legado de las Sombras Grand Metalik in singles action. And as we saw from their interaction earlier on tonight, a tag team match. Liv Morgan teams with Hikaru Shida. Remember, either one of those two women could be the Raw Women's Champion on that show. But regardless, they're going to team up against Julia and Sonya Deville on Raw next week. Moving on to One Night in Tokyo, we have some new match announcements, including some very special ones that we didn't announce on the show so far. We saw earlier on tonight Women's Tag Team Championship action. J-Flow's Maki and Tam, I guess, are the current champions, but again, it could be any of them, so I don't know specifically which two it will be. They will defend their tag team championships against VXT's Deonna Purrazzo and Chelsea Green. If J-Flow retain, Aiden English will crown Maki the Queen of Pop on next week's episode of Raw. We then have Cruiserweight Championship that was made official on last week's Velocity. Rey Mysterio takes on Japanese legendary junior heavyweight Kushida back in the Tokyo Dome once again. We then have the Raw Tag Team Championships on the line as Emerson Frost and King Kobain of the Grand Jury collide with Path of the Dragon in a tag team bout. We're also going to have, of course, Rhea Ripley defending against the winner of the main event. But that won't be the only two Women's Championship matches on the show, because just announced, the NXT Japan Wonder Woman Championship will be on the line. Saray, Monday Night Raw's Saray, who we saw earlier on tonight, will step up and be the challenger for champion Aoi Maikawa. And the NXT Japan Men's Championship will be defended. Their champion Tintin Hoshino will face off against Ika Menjiro, also of Monday Night Raw. So yeah, two NXT Japan Championship showcases on the One Night in Tokyo show. We then have speaking of One Night in Tokyo, a fun backstage, like I think NXT did them like this with the Worlds Collide matches. There's like a big table in Alexa's room, and Shinsuke and Drew are on either side because they're signing their contract for the match. And Drew goes, it's refreshing. After all those weeks of trying to kick Sheamus's head off, it's refreshing to look across the table at a man that I respect. And Shinsuke smiles. He's like, oh, you. And Drew goes, Shinsuke, you, of course, legend in Japan. You've been to this arena is basically your home. You're going to the Tokyo Dome. That's basically your home arena. And in some people might look at me as the underdog in that regard, but I know a way to win. I didn't go through all that hell, kicking the head off my former best friend, only to lose the championship after just 2 weeks. So Shinsuke, you're going to bring your best. I know you're going to bring your best. You're going to want to show up back in the Tokyo Dome. First time in 6 years. But you're not leaving with a victory. You're leaving with a claymore. But, of course, I will show you my respect in that regard. And Ruru was just like, Mr. McIntyre, the respect from your end to Shinsuke Nakamura is equally reciprocated the other way around. Shinsuke Nakamura has respected you and everything you've done since your return to WWE. But Shinsuke Nakamura, was the NXT champion when you first arrived back in NXT. So he was the man that you were targeting, and now those roles are reversed. Shinsuke Nakamura is targeting you. And you got the nerve to face Shinsuke Nakamura in his home backyard in the Tokyo Dome. Well, guess what? That arena is going to be full of starving Japanese WWE Universe members who haven't seen the King of Strong Style do his thing live in over half a decade. So when the bright lights and the music hits, we've proven through history that in the Tokyo Dome, lights are on bright, the music up loud. Shinsuke Nakamura brings his A-game, Drew McIntyre. Do you? And then Shinsuke takes, I don't know if there's a mic, they're probably not mic'd up, he'll then get his time to speak and just go, "May the best man win." And he signs, and then offers a handshake out to Drew, and they shake hands. And Alexa's behind them, in the middle, well, it's nice to finally have, a respectful, nice contract signing. Gladly you didn't destroy my office. Now, on to the main event. What was the matter with this? Because I put Rhea Ripley on commentary. And that penalised the whole match, did it? Whatever. Go fuck yourself, game. Anyway, in a 75 rated match, Shida punches her ticket to go to Tokyo. She beats Sasha and Liv, pins Liv, obviously. We teased it earlier on that they'd pin each other because I'm not having Sasha take the fall because she's the most popular person in the match, and obviously Shida's getting the title shot because it's in Japan. Them's the breaks. So, Shida versus Rhea Ripley for the Raw Women's Championship will be taking place this Sunday, 6 dates from now in the Tokyo Dome, at One Night in Tokyo. Yeah, the show gets an 83 because the main event, for some reason, was bad because I had the nerve to put Rhea Ripley on commentary, and that made the whole match was shit, apparently. That's how TEW works. I don't know why you don't just watch the match on mute, but whatever. On to Heat, which will probably get a better rating than Raw this week because the Heat main event will be better than a 75. Heat kicks off with a tag team match, which sees Corbin's new besties, Smile and Shine, take on Toxic Attraction. Tegan pins JC with the Vulture Culture Destroyer in 12:43. The match gets a 72, which, considering everybody apart from Tegan Nox in this match was below that, sure, that's fine. 83 for Tegan, 61 for Kylie, 53 for JC, and a 63 for Gigi. We then get a 58. That's actually fine, considering it was Indy carrying Kiana. Indy hasn't been on the main show for a while because, Sasha Banks has been interacting with other people and her having a friend right now is inconvenient. So, Indy sort of has just been floating around, nothing to do until Sasha becomes free to have a friend again. So, she can beat Kiana James here with whatever finisher she can use. The Superplex, because apparently Twitter hates that. 70 for Indy, 26 for Kiana. 71, which is one rating higher than both women scored individually, is our girl Florence, who beats Ruby Riott in 13 minutes 11 seconds when she apparently makes her submit. I imagine that wouldn't be the case, it would be the pinfall finish. And again, they both score 70s. Lita is pretty bad. I'm trying to get her up because I like her being on commentary for this show, so I don't care. The main event gets a 72. I was actually wrong. This wasn't better than the Raw main event. It's fine. But it is the 3 women of the Grand Jury, Sonya, Scarlett, and Julia. I realised I jobbed them out a lot. So just to give them a nice win here against Kaden, Katana, and Naomi. Julia pins Kaden with a diving crossbody. 49 for Kaden, 67 for Katana, 68 for Naomi, 77 for Julia, 75 for Scarlett, and a 73 for Sonya. And so ends a 71 rated episode of Heat. And yeah, that's believe it or not, that's Raw done now until Tokyo. Because this, I imagine, isn't an actual full-scale, Clash of the Castle size pay-per-view, just a nice little network special or whatever. Just a stopgap before Survivor Series. But we have to get through SmackDown first before we get there. See you then.